What's up, everyone? It's J&J with Justin and Jordan. What we got today, Justin?
Today we'll be recapping all the series that's gone on in the NBA so far in the past week.
Wait, hold on. But before we even do that, I do want to apologize to two players real quick. Two players that I kind of did disrespect recently. One guy that I've disrespected all season, even though you guys haven't known. I want to apologize to RJ Barrett and Russell Westbrook. You know, Russell Westbrook has proved to me right now, especially with Kawhi being out, like, you know what? He's still that dog. He's playing well. Not only is he playing well in scoring and playmaking and rebounding, playing good defense, but he's also shooting the ball well. RJ's had his coming out party. Gave him a lot of heat for how he started off the series. But, yeah, I do want to apologize to both of them for that. They've played better. They've come out. I'm willing to admit whenever I'm wrong. So I did just want to start with that. Sorry to cut you off, Justin, but I do feel I did have to apologize to those two guys.
Nah, yeah, it's good that you say that because I feel like I owe Westbrook an apology too. The Lakers wasn't all his fault, but when you play with LeBron and you play for the Lakers, it's like a big light on you. And with that, everybody just kind of just went crazy with the situation, blaming everything on him. But even though that was just a poorly constructed roster and they just threw all the blame on him, I don't think he deserved that. He's human at the end of the day. We shouldn't treat him like he doesn't have any feelings. But he has responded really well to the hate. He's been hooping his ass off. And he deserves it. He deserves all the flowers he's getting right now. He's a legend. And I don't think we should forget that. And RJ Barrett, I never gave up on that man. It has been a rocky road, but I've always stuck it out with RJ. And to me, I feel like this is always why I wanted him on the Knicks. I always felt like he was a tough guy. Every time backs against the wall, everybody's talking down on him. He always responds. And this was a great weekend for him. And he really answered the haters and all the doubters.
Yeah, I mean, I went as far to say, you know, RJ got to be benched, you know, have Brunson, Grimes, Hart to start over him, you know. But, you know, I like I said, I'll admit when I'm wrong. I do want to disagree real quick with what you said. I think in accordance to Russ, just real quick to end this little segment, I will criticize you when you got to be criticized. I will praise you when you deserve to be praised. With Russ, for example, like when you're playing bad, I'm not going to lie and pretend like you're playing good. And when you're playing good, I'm not going to be like these haters that's going to be like, all right, well, he's still Westbrook. You know what? He don't deserve Westbrook right now. He's been playing good. When you play good, I'm going to give you your flowers that you deserve in that moment until you lose those flowers. But you can still earn those flowers later on.
That's fair.
So before we even talk about the series, I just want to talk about a lot of the controversies that's been going on, a lot of dirty play, a lot of ejections, but a lot of nut shots as we've seen. I mean, we've seen Harden, Embiid, and Brooks get ejected for the same reason, hitting people below the belt, unnecessary. Draymond, of course, we've seen curb stomp Sabonis in the chest. I do want to talk about that because there's a lot of conversation going on. Like, you have Warriors fans saying, you know what, you can't take this guy's past into perspective and be like, oh, we're punishing him for the past, you know? But your pads do matter, and when people try to compare the other guys to Draymond's situation, saying like, oh, why aren't they getting like this heat that he's getting? It's because Draymond Green has been doing this for years. In my opinion, I don't know how you feel. I think Draymond should have been suspended for one more game. I would have given him a 2-3 game suspension, something that really, really impacts the team, because like you cannot let this man get away with this shit all the time. He's been getting away with this for 7 years now. Embiid, you know, he's not really a dirty guy. He's had his scuffles before, like with Kat, for example, but he's not been a dirty guy. Harden might be a cheap player, you know, manipulate the game, so he's not a dirty player. Brooks is a different story, but I kind of want to get your take on all these ejections, you know, suspensions such as Embiid and Draymond and Brooks. Just how are you feeling after this last week with all this hectic stuff going on, literally in just 1 week?
I feel like the refs are trying to lock in on more things, and I feel like the Sabonis and Draymond thing was kind of scary when I saw the replay. For him to like step on him like that was wild. I was like, bro, what the? So after I seen that, I was like, bro, I don't. Even though people try to defend Draymond saying, oh, Sabonis grabbed his leg, I guess you could say that, but to me, I feel like when you're on the ground like that and you don't know what the hell's going on, there's a bunch of guys all around you. You don't want to get your head stepped on. You don't want the ball to hit you in the head. So I feel like his first reaction is to like grab his head and just block himself. And Draymond's feet were right there, so obviously they're gonna make contact. So yeah, he probably did grab him, but I feel like Draymond's reaction was crazy. I feel like he overreacted.
Yeah, I didn't like that excuse from a lot of Warriors fans, because it's like you want to complain about, Draymond getting his leg grabbed, but guess what? Draymond's been grabbing legs for years now. Draymond's been pulling people down for years. He's been elbowing people. He's been kicking people. Now we got him curb stomping on someone, and I feel he barely got punished for it. I think a lot of these Warriors fans feel like victims, saying, oh, so what if he kicked Steven Adams and LeBron a couple years ago? It doesn't matter. It's not that he's been a clean player since then. I think that Adam Silver, as I always say, when it comes to like his job as commissioner, he's too lenient on the players. I think he got to bring the hammer down. I don't think we're going to see Draymond cool off. I wouldn't be surprised if next round, let's say if they play the Lakers, things get heated with AD or LeBron, he tries to attack one of them. I know he loves LeBron, and people joke about that, but when it comes to competition, I would not be surprised if he tries to hit him. And it's like, I didn't like it. I didn't like Warriors fans saying, well, it's Sabonis' fault. I didn't like that, these fans are booing him relentlessly every time he touches the ball. I understand, opposing fans, you want to boo the opposite best player, but they're not booing him because he's good. They're booing him because he got curb stomped in the chest, and then Draymond got suspended for 1 game, a light punishment, in my opinion.
I didn't really give too much thought on how much games he should be suspended, but I found it interesting how they took in Draymond's pass to decide to suspend him, but I feel like he gets away with a lot of shit in games, and they don't do anything about it. Like, if you see it after every foul, after every maybe timeout, he's always talking to the ref. He's always saying some shit at the free throw line. He's always the one barking, and they let him get away with this shit. If it was anybody else, they're getting a T. So it kind of confuses me how they take in his pass and they want to give him, as you would say, a light little suspension, but when he's doing all these other antics in the game, they kind of just let it slide. So I feel like that the NBA has to do a better job, because you're basically saying to everybody else, like, Draymond could do this shit, but y'all can't. So y'all basically rewarding him for doing all this shit. So I feel like he should be held accountable. Let it be known that he can't get away with this all the time. And yeah, I don't agree with that. And then the other ejections, I thought I think that ejection is stupid. Like, Nick Claxton got ejected for staring at Joel Embiid after he dunked on him. This is basketball. It's a game of emotion. You're gonna want to do that. If you make a play on somebody, you're gonna want to flex. You're gonna want to scream. Like, that is not unsportsmanlike. If you play sports, you understand that's just how it is. I feel like people are only offended if you literally never play the sport. If you're offended by somebody flexing on you for doing something good, everybody goes to that emotion. And Dylan Brooks, I feel like at this point he's literally like asking for it, because he's trying to play that villain role. He's making it known. He's talking to the media, making all these comments about LeBron, saying he's too old, all this. I gotta be the enforcer, and he's acting upon it too. He's literally talking it, and now he's like, it's in his head now. Like, he's doing everything he's saying he's doing. So now you have a target on your back now, and the refs see that. So now they're gonna start acting on what you do. And then James Harden's ejection was confusing to me. I was like, what the hell happened? But yeah, most of everything I had to say mostly revolved around Draymond, because I think this shit needs to change. Because
Draymond's the biggest perpetrator. When a dog bites, 4 kids will say, why is it when he bites the 5th one, you're going to be like, let's not talk about the first 4. It's just the truth. And I think Dylan Brooks is going to take the same mold as Draymond. We're going to see as the years go by and his career continues that he's going to keep doing stuff like this. I mean, we've seen what he did with the Warriors. He's already got the reputation now after what he did last year's series against the Warriors, and now against the Lakers now, punching LeBron in the balls to the point where he's on the floor, curled up for minutes. By the way, camera crew, I'm not gonna lie, it was a little bit funny to have them recording LeBron just like writhing in pain. Like, it was stupid, but it's like he was being excessive as hell. He was being way too excessive, and I know you're saying like he wants to play in this villain role. If you're gonna play the villain role, play it right. You know, he did hit LeBron, but you know what? Here's my thing. Don't be whack and say, I have no comment just because you losing now. Talk your shit when you losing. That's why, you know what? I have some type of respect for like some dirty players like a Pat Bev, because he's gonna talk his shit when he's down 3-0 and losing by 40 in a game 4. You got Dylan Brooks out here saying, "Oh, I got no comment." Like, come on, bro. You want to be the villain so badly? Be the villain. Don't half-ass it. Don't have one foot in the door and one foot out. Be the villain that you want to be then. Embrace it. Don't say you got no comment. You talking all this shit before when, the series just started, when the series was tied. Now that you down the series, don't back off. Bring it back. Bring the same energy. Bring the same energy every single night. Bring the same energy if you're about to lose a series and you down by 30. Bring it 24/7. Don't half-ass it. But that's all I got to say for those couple ejections. I mean, and beating Harden, it happens. Like, they hit somebody. Again, more nut shots, unnecessary as hell. Claxton, I agree that's weak. Those type of ejections are weak. I think the other 4 are validated. But when you, eject people for talking trash, for staring at somebody, I think even a light push, even though it didn't happen, I don't think you should be ejected for something like that. It, like you said, is basketball. Whether you're playing with your friends or competition, you're going to talk your shit. You shouldn't be ejected for it. All these sports, not even just basketball, we need to have emotion in it, because we're all human. We all going to have our emotions. Stop trying to make these guys robots. What makes these sports entertaining is when the athletes are able to show their emotion. And as we've seen in a lot of sports, we're seeing emotion come back. Like in football and baseball, NBA got to embrace the emotion even more, because NBA just a couple years ago was the most emotional sport out there. Now it's starting to change the tide. They starting to lack right now. But that's all I got to say about the ejections. Why don't we get a start on some of the series that we've seen, Justin?
Yeah, I want to start off with the Western Conference. We could recap the Denver Nuggets and Minnesota Timberwolves series. And the Nuggets have been really strong. They went up 3-0, and then last night the Timberwolves prevailed, and they won the game. Anthony Edwards, he's been hooping this whole series. After game 1, where I felt like he could have did a little bit more, game 2, 41, game 3, 36, game 4, 34, and he was really coming up big last night in the fourth quarter. That crossover he had on Aaron Gordon was disgusting. I was like, damn. And Jokic, man, I feel like last night, I feel like he had chances to put this game away, and he kind of just came up short. Like, there was one in the fourth quarter, I think they got free throws. It was, what was the score? I think they were down 2, and he got 2 free throws. He missed the first one, and then he made the second one to tie the game. He could have had those 2 free throws to put them up 1 with 12 seconds left. And then in overtime, he kind of pushed Gobert down, and they didn't really call it, so I was surprised. So he was wide the fuck open, and he missed it. And that would have put them down 1 if he made it. So just little things right there. He could have did a little bit more to put the game over the top and just close the series. And then Jamal Murray, he's been going crazy in the first couple of games, but he kind of slowed down yesterday. It wasn't really his best game. I feel like it's been good seeing Anthony Edwards taking this leadership role that I've been seeing. He gets in the huddle, he holds his guys accountable, and he does what he has to do in the fourth quarter. Karl Towns, I feel like, needs to be better. He gets into foul trouble too much. He does all these little stupid fouls that hurts his team at the end of the day. But I think this really goes to show that Anthony Edwards has a really bright future, despite what may happen in the series. And I think the future is bright with him as long as they keep him. And I think the Nuggets should take care of business in Game 5 when they go back to Denver.
I think, when it comes to Ant-Man, we seen he was an all-star this year, I understand. But I think this is the coming out moment or you could even say last year's Grizzlies series, but I think this proves that, his playoff performances last year aren't a fluke, that he is going to be a superstar next season. And it kind of reminds me kind of like Luka-esque when he lost to the Clippers, in the first round 2 years in a row. It just makes you think all right, next year this guy's going to be ready to come play. This guy's going to be a playoff monster for years to come. Jamal Murray, I know you're saying he slowed down, but I think the West now officially needs to be a little bit scared now that he's back, that Jokic got some help now, because the biggest question, in my opinion, throughout all the playoffs is what is the Nuggets supporting cast going to look like I think it's safe to say Jamal Murray is back. Playoff Jamal is back. Not only that, but Embiid, I felt like really tried for the first time. Because I understand the other games he played pretty damn good, but last night felt like the first night where he tried. The man scored 23 points in the second half, 8 of 10 shooting. He just wanted to dominate, and then it was a wasted performance. They lost in OT, but he was amazing last night. I love seeing Jokic when he's fully locked in. I think if he was locked in all the time, it would be scary for the entire Western Conference. But I feel like, he's kind of taking in stride. This is round one. You're the one seed, you comfortable. But if he plays like this for the rest of the playoffs, when he moves on to the second round, conference finals, maybe even the finals, I think it's going to be very scary for every team that faces him. Towns, as you said, bro, super disappointing. Super, super disappointing. It's getting to a point where I think we need to have a conversation like, is this guy ever going to be a playoff player? Like last year, he played pretty good, but, first playoff series, terrible. And this looks like him in his first playoff series. He looks terrible right out there. Like, he's averaging probably, if I had to guess, I don't got the numbers in front of me. I know he's averaging less than 20. For a fact, he's probably averaging like 15, 16 points right now. He's playing terrible in the playoffs right now. So I think this series is over. I understand the T-Wolves got a game. They avoided the sweep, but in general, it was kind of a pretty boring series so far. Last night's game was great. But yeah, I think this would have been much more interesting if Towns, had a couple good games, gave Ant-Man some support.
Towns is currently averaging 16.3 points on, 43% field goal and then 27% 3-point.
He's playing like shit, bro. He looks like, he's in his prime. He's grown, he's a veteran, and he looks like a rookie out there sometimes, the way that he be playing. I cannot excuse his play. I don't think he's ever going to be a playoff guy. This is your third playoff series. I don't think going into your fourth, fifth, sixth playoff series you're going to change. I think this is who he is. I don't think we're going to see anything much better than what we got last year, And last year he didn't look like a superstar. He looked like a pretty good player, maybe a low-tier all-star in the playoffs, but he was very, very, very disappointing to me. So the 2 and 7 seed, we talking about the Lakers and the Grizzlies. A lot of beef in this series. Some pretty good games, We're seeing some guys really come out. The big stars, you're obviously going to talk about Ja, LeBron, AD to a certain extent, Triple J. But I also want to take back another comment that I made, I believe it was last week or episode 1, I said AR-15 could replicate his play and Rui Hachimura can't. It's completely flipped. Not that, Austin Reeves has been playing good, but Rui is averaging 20 off the bench right now. And he just looks damn near unstoppable sometimes when he gets in, He looks like sometimes the second best offensive player on the Lakers. And when you're on a team with LeBron and AD, that sounds like crazy, but it's the truth. He's played very well. Austin Reeves is pretty good, D'Lo has been very disappointing. I know I said, Rui's like the second best offensive player sometimes for the Lakers. That's not a dig at AD because AD's defense looks like prime, like 2019 Pelicans AD right now. Every guy that gets to the paint, they get blocked. Whether it's by AD or LeBron, but especially AD that's averaging 5 blocks right now in this series. He has been absolutely unstoppable when it comes to anchoring that paint. Whether it's Ja, Triple J, Desmond Bane, it doesn't matter. Xavier Tillman, he's blocking that shot. And I think now that AD's defense is back, I think the Lakers could go really deep right now. I mean, they already have a commanding series lead right now. I think they got the home court advantage. They could go pretty damn deep, I think, because an AD with defense, I think that's a scary thought for a league when he looks like one of the best damn defenders in the game, which he should be day in and day out. But right now in the playoffs, where it's most important, I think it's a scary sight for the rest of the league. The Grizzlies, a little bit disappointing. I don't know what it is, man. Like, I don't know if it's the cohesiveness, the chemistry, but sometimes they just look better without Ja, even though Ja scored more than 40. I can't see what it is, and Triple J was disappointing. Very, very disappointing in game 3. Dylan Brooks was Dylan Brooks, got ejected and everything, shooting his team out the game. But I want to know, what do you think it is that makes these guys sometimes play better without Ja? Is it the next man up mentality? Do you think there's better ball movement? What do you think it is?
I think it's just knowing that you don't really have to defer as much to one player, and you guys could just play as a team. But I feel like game 2 for the Grizzlies, it was really Xavier Tillman stepped up big. Jaren Jackson did what he had to do, and I felt like that was really surprising because I felt like with Ja sitting out, I thought the Lakers would come out with a punch and just kind of put them away, but they didn't. They kind of fell asleep on that. And then Game 3, Lakers came out the gate. I felt like the game was over in the first quarter. It was 35-9, I believe. And it was tough to see. Jaren Jackson did not play his best game. Neither did Desmond Bane. Dylan Brooks was horrible after talking all that smack about LeBron. But yeah, if the Grizzlies want to win, they have to. I don't know. It's tough to say because Ja was back, but I guess there's like a disconnect because I feel like in their head they're ready to play without Ja, knowing he's hurt, and then Ja's like, I want to play because this is the playoffs. So I feel like there might be like a slight disconnect. Everyone's ready to do one thing and the opposite's happening. But it's tough to say. I don't really have an answer for it. I feel like the Lakers they're gelling at the right time. They're getting everything together. Rui's looking really good. I did not think he would be this good. This is crazy. Austin Reeves, he's very good in timely moments. LeBron does what he does, and then Anthony Davis has been really good defensively. Credit to him. He holds the team down together. He's the anchor for this team. And the Grizzlies just really have to figure out what they're going to do going forward in this series. I feel like they could still win another game, but it's going to be tough with Ja Morant's hand. I know he still had 45, but I know he was having a little bit of trouble handling the ball in the beginning of the game. I think he went out of bounds a couple of times. He got the ball stripped from him. But, yeah, the Grizzlies got to come together if they want to figure out a way to win this series. But I think the Lakers are well put together right now, and they kind of have it in their heads that they know what to do and they want to take care of business.
Yeah, tonight is really a big must-win game for the Grizzlies. If of course, common sense. If they lose this, it's going to look really bad for them. Series might as well be over because it's going to be they're going to be in a 3-1 deficit. But I think I still have faith in them to win one more game. But after that, in my opinion, Lakers are going to grab 2 more wins. Series is going to be over. I think this team, not because of personnel, of course, complete different personnel, but I think we're kind of seeing like a rebirth of that mid-90s Rockets team that won the second ring, because this team does not look like a real 7 seed. Just as that Rockets team did not look like a real 6 seed, if I'm not mistaken, what they were. This does not look like a real 7 seed. It almost looks like it's the Grizzlies that are the 7 seed and the Lakers that are the top 2 seed right now.
Yeah.
They're gelling at the perfect time. Like you said, they have the best not the best personnel. They have incredible personnel right now. I don't see any holes in their game right now. And that's scary for the West. When it comes to the Kings or the Warriors, who we're going to talk about next, right now, I don't think any of them can handle the Lakers. I think we're going to see a Lakers at minimum. It's going to sound crazy. I think the Lakers fans have me convinced at this point. I think we're going to see them in the Western Conference Finals. Like, seriously, no matter who they play in round 2.
That's not crazy to say.
Yeah, and it's, when Lakers fans were saying that before they were even the 7th seed, before they even won the play, and I'm like, you guys sound insane. You guys must be on crack. But it's like, right now, it's looking real. They might be right. This might be a contending team at this point. And I think that's insane considering how we saw them just like 3 months ago. They were one of the worst teams. Everyone was laughing like, wow, the Pelicans about to get the number 1 pick without even being in like the lottery. But now look where the Lakers are at. They're primed to go deep right now. And LeBron's not even looking like a prime LeBron James right now. He's getting the help, he's getting the proper help from his teammates. God forbid D'Lo turns it up, This team's going to look really scary. But as I mentioned before, the next team that they're going to have to face, if they do win their series, of course we're talking very early, is going to be between the Kings and the Warriors. Kings kind of did disappoint me, They had a near 3-1 lead in the bag, but right now, even after Curry, let me not say choked, but after he made a very drastic mistake that if they lost that game, that would have been known as like the play that killed the Warriors dynasty. I think it's a shame that the Kings didn't take advantage. The way that Game 4 ended was disappointing. You had an extra timeout. Once you see De'Aaron Fox is getting double teamed, even if it's just 5 seconds left, I'd rather you call a timeout, draw up another play to get D Fox another shot, and give it up to Harrison Barnes. Like, let's just be serious. He's not the guy to close out your game. I understand it looked like a cool storybook ending. Wow, Harrison Barnes is going to take down the dynasty. Now, he was a part of that, just threw him away like some trash, but that was a terrible play. It was the right play, but at the same time, I didn't like it when you had another timeout available. I'm still going to stick with my pick of the Kings winning in 7. As I've said before, the home team is always going to win their games. I think they're going to win in Sacramento, lose in San Francisco, but win again in Sacramento. But, De'Aaron Fox has been great. Monk has had his moments, but I've been disappointed by Sabonis. I don't know if it's the curb stomp has gotten to his head. I don't know if it's the crowd got into his head. I don't know if he's just not a playoff player. But he made so many mistakes. He at certain points, he looked like the worst guy on the court. And I think he really needs to contribute big next game, show why he's an all-star. Even if it's against, Draymond Green and Looney, you got to prove yourself, bro. You got to get your get back at this point. Like, seriously. Because you're getting disrespected right now. I've been a Sabonis fan. I'm coming down hard on him right now because it's like you're wasting these De'Aaron Fox performances. De'Aaron Fox dropped another 30 ball. And for what? To lose at the end of the game? This is a definite lead that would have closed out the series, and you wasted it. So now you got to go back home and win and maybe try to steal a game away, But that's all I have to say about that series. It's been exciting as hell, I'll say that much,
Nah, yeah. Sabonis really does have to step up. He had 6 turnovers in Game 3, and then I felt like he wasn't a really big factor in Game 4. And it's going to be tough because you're the second best player on this team. Your role players aren't going to always show up in every game. We're blessed to see Malik Monk go off in Game 1, and then Game 2 was the Davion Mitchell show. He did what he had to do. He brought that energy off the bench. And then this game, we're lucky enough to see Keegan Murray, 23 points. We're not going to see that every game.
He was hooping.
So you need consistent production from your top 2 guys, because the Warriors last night's game, they got it from almost their whole 5. Like Jordan Poole, 22, Klay, 26, Curry, 32, Wiggins, 18. And then Looney's contributing in the paint with his defense and his rebounding. 14 rebounds this game. Last game, he had 20 rebounds. So they're getting contributions from everybody. The Kings, they have a well-oiled machine, but I feel like they need everyone. Well, I'm not saying everyone every game, but they're gonna have to have that third guy, that third spark every game. Whether it's Monk, whether it's Keegan Murray, whether it's Davion Mitchell, Trey Lyles, they need somebody to kind of like fill in the spots when Fox is. He's gonna give you your 30 every game. Sabonis, he might give you a double-double, maybe triple-double. But they just need those other guys to kind of just fill in the holes. And I feel like with that last play yesterday, I feel like you have to get the ball into De'Aaron Fox's hands. He is the clutch player for a reason, the clutch player of the year. So I would rather him have the ball at the end. Win, lose, or draw, whatever he does, I feel like the decision should be up to him. He makes the play. He makes it happen. And I feel like you could have went back to Sacramento up 3-1. It sucks to see. But I knew the Warriors would take care of business in the Chase Center in San Francisco. They're that type of team. And I knew when the game was kind of getting chippy at the end and it was swaying back and forth, you could see the Kings are still, like, you could see their young moments at times. They'll get a steal, and then De'Aaron Fox will kind of get excited, throw a pass, and get it turned over. Same thing with Malik Monk. He'll drive, try to make a bounce pass that gets stolen. Sabonis tries to make a move on Draymond. He tips it. So you kind of just see when the momentum's kind of shifting their way, the Warriors won't let it happen. They want to take control and be in the series at all time. But that's just credit to the Warriors. They're a veteran team. They've been here before. They know what to do. And they're going to try their best for the Kings to not take control of the game and the series.
I want more Kevin Huerter baskets, That's what I want, I just checked, how he played last night because I didn't even remember him scoring. I'm surprised I saw he has 2 points, but I need more buckets from him. I think it's sad because you named all these players saying, we need that number 3. I think it's sad how far, Kevin has kind of fallen off since the series started. And you didn't even bother to name him. That's not even your fault. He just hasn't played good at all.
It's tough because he's going to be targeted defensively, and I know Mike Brown would rather go with Davion Mitchell. He doesn't really offer as much offensively, but he gives you that spark defensively off the bench, and he's the type of guy who's going to harass your ball handler, give Jordan Poole some problems, occasionally give Steph Curry some problems fighting over screens and doing all that. So I guess he would rather go out that way than to just have Kevin Huerter out there. If he's not feeling it, he's going to take him out early.
You got to get his buckets, though. You know what I'm saying? And then the last matchup in the West, Clippers versus Suns, a matchup that I wish was a little more exciting, but, we're not really seeing Kawhi out there. Although we're not seeing Kawhi, we've seen some surprise performances. As I said, I apologize to Westbrook earlier. Playing great, 26 points per game in this series, 41% three-point shooting. I believe it was Durant and who else? I believe CP3, or was it Devin Booker that said, Westbrook needs his respect from the fans. These people that actually watch the game see how good Russ is. And you know what? I can admit, like I apologized earlier, he's been playing really damn good. A little bit of respect, too, to Norman Powell. Random-ass 40 ball, He played good, but at the end of the day, you're getting overpowered, especially with CP3 now coming back a little bit. Bit by bit, he's coming back. He's starting to look much, much better. But you're not going to beat a good CP3. Kevin Durant, who's always going to be Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker, who's always going to be Devin Booker. I think this series is basically over. As you said in the car, if we had Kawhi and forget Paul George for a second, just Kawhi by himself, this would be a close-ass series. I think this would go to 7, but with him being hurt, supposedly, it's Kawhi Leonard. When it comes to every other player, I believe it, but when it comes to Kawhi Leonard, I'm a bit skeptical when it comes to his injuries, but with him being gone, this series has gone from what was exciting at the start to now it's starting to dwindle down, be a little bit more boring. I wish we could have one of their two stars being able to play, and if they had both, this would have been like an all-time great series, but at this point, Suns are about to close the deal.
Yeah, it sucks to see Kawhi Leonard being out of this series because I thought this series had potential to be one of the best ones in the first round. But credit to Westbrook to keeping the team afloat. Even with Kawhi Leonard out, the games are still pretty close. And like you said, Norman Powell with that crazy 40 ball in Game 3. But I feel like this series, Phoenix just has it in the bag. Without Kawhi Leonard, without Paul George, I don't see them losing this series. But I just want to give credit to Westbrook to just staying positive and doing what he does, playing with the passion. Because basketball is any sport I would say is a mentally draining game, and you're constantly thinking like, what's gonna happen? People are talking like he was gonna be out the league, so it's good to see him playing like the way he's always been playing his whole career and doing what he does. So I just like seeing that from him.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I wish we could talk more about that series, but it looks stamped.
Yeah,
it's over. It's over with. So moving on to the East, do you think we're going to see an 8 seed topple the 1 seed for the first time since, I believe, 2007? Do you think that's going to happen right now?
I don't think it was the first time. It would be the first time since that.
What other 8 seed has won since? Oh, you're right.
Philly,
I'm wrong.
Chicago, 2012.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And also, the Grizzlies and the Spurs. I don't know if that was 2012 or 2011, but you're right. You're right. I did forget about that one. So the first one since 2012.
I remember that vividly because I'm a big Derrick Rose fan. He went out in Game 1, and then Philly with Drew Holiday, Iguodala, and them boys.
Man, I don't want to count that shit because D Rose went down. You feel me?
I mean, it technically happened though. It happened,
but like an overpower. I understand. This might be similar to that D-Rose situation, with all due respect, with Giannis being gone. But do you think it's going to happen? Because Giannis is at least going to come back tonight, supposedly.
If Giannis does come back, hopefully he's healthy and good to go. Yeah, I think they could still win the series because Tyler Hero's out for the remainder of the playoffs, I believe. I think they said if the Heat somehow get to the finals, he'd be back, and then Oladipo's out for the rest of the playoffs. I think he's getting knee surgery. So with those two guys, those are key contributors for the Miami Heat. If Giannis comes back, I don't see the Heat pulling out this series. But if Giannis doesn't play, I feel like the Heat could walk away with this series. As good as the Bucks are without Giannis, it's hard. That's a 27, 28 points unaccounted for and 14 rebounds and paint defense. That's something you're just losing. You're not going to get back. And then you have Jimmy Butler, he's been having his way this whole series. Nobody's been able to stop him. And Bam's been playing better too. So with this Miami Heat team, it's going to be tough. Even when they're not looking good, they're still always in the mix because their coaching. Shout out to Eric Spoelstra. He's always in it. If Giannis isn't there, I could see the Heat just walking. I could see the Bucks winning one more game without Giannis. But if he isn't there, I could see the Heat potentially winning this series.
Yeah, I kind of do wish, I'm a big Chris Cash Middleton fan, but I understand he's already scoring 24 points a game, but I got to see a little bit more, bro. Just a little bit more. And when Giannis comes back, even with Giannis back, I need another, 30 ball. Like real shit, because he's capable of it. I understand he's still getting back into the rhythm of things with how his season's gone. But at this point, you're one of the most clutch players in the league when it comes to the playoffs. You got to show up right now. When Giannis comes back, I don't want him and Drew Holiday to get complacent and be like, we got Giannis back. We're gonna win this. I still want to see that Chris Middleton play. I don't have any doubts about Drew Holiday coming to play because even when his offense is off, he's still getting that incredible best defense at the guard position in the league. I'm gonna say that real quick because a lot of people want to disagree with that. Best perimeter defender in the league right now. But I want to really focus on Chris Middleton because they need these buckets.
And I don't want to cut you off, but I feel like for the Bucks to win this series without Giannis, you're asking for Chris Middleton to kind of match Jimmy Butler's production offensively. And then Drew Holiday, he's going to have to match either Bam or Max Strus on any given night. And we've seen Drew Holiday last year in that Celtics series, him kind of be that second option. And at times he had it, and other times he kind of struggled. So I feel like he's more suited to be a primary defender, get his teammates involved. He'll score within the offense, but when he's required and asked to do a little bit more offensively, I could see it's not really his game. So I feel like it's going to be tougher. You're going to be asking a lot from these guys without Giannis, their top player. He's a top player in the league. So it's going to be tough to see that, but it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, like you said, it's not that Chris Middleton's not playing good. He's still playing really damn good, but he's averaging 24. Jimmy Butler's dropping 30 balls,
Yeah.
You're expecting him to outscore Jimmy Butler, which he may be capable of doing, but at the end of the day, even if he does do that, you still need another guy. You still need your anchor in the paint, Brook Lopez is great, DPOY consideration, but let's be real. Giannis, when he's on the floor, DPOY consideration or not, at worst, he's a top 3 defender in the league. Not only is he a top 3 defender, in my opinion, he's the best player in the league. No matter what team you are, when you lose the best player in the league, and it doesn't matter how good your support system is, when you lose the best player in the league, that changes everything. It changes completely everything. I understand they're down right now. I think the Bucks are going to win the next 3 games. Might be a crazy hot take. Even if Giannis comes back like 60% of the regular Giannis Antetokounmpo, pair that up with, Middleton 25 ball, Drew Holiday get 18, 20 points, I think these guys are going to be able to win the next 3 games,
And we're moving on to the Boston Celtics and Atlanta Hawks series. Atlanta was able to steal one. Like, I think you predicted Atlanta to win.
Boring, though.
To get one. Yeah, it's been a boring series. I feel like there really isn't much to say. I knew the Hawks would get one because I knew Trae Young and DeJounte Murray would be good enough to get one. But I feel like there's still no match for the Boston Celtics. I don't even know what to say to this because this is like the one series where I'm like, bro, I don't care. Whenever it comes on, I'm just like, bro, I'm good. Not yet. Game 3, Trae Young with 32 points, an efficient one at that. And DeJounte Murray with 25. And they do, I'll give them credit for it. They do get good contributions from their guys, from all their other guys. Like DeAndre Hunter gave him 11 in Game 3. Capella gave him 10. He gave him a double-double. Sadiq Bey, 15 off the bench. Jalen Johnson gives him a good 10. So, this isn't really their series to win, but they have been getting contributions from everybody else. In last night's game, they got 27 from DeAndre Hunter.
He spun back finally.
He finally got back. DeJounte could have been a little bit more efficient with his 23, but Trae went off with his 35. This isn't really your series, Atlanta, but Boston's gonna keep doing what they're doing. You got 31 apiece from the Jays. There's nothing really to say about that. You got 19 from Marcus Smart last night, and then 18 from Derek White. And then you had 14 from Brogdon and 13 from Robert Williams. So it's kind of hard to even stop them when they're all clicking like that. So Atlanta, just be happy you got your one.
Yeah, and to be honest, you saying all these stats, throwing all these numbers on, it's like it's not even that Atlanta played bad, you know? Any other game, any other time, they would have won this. But when you have Derek White, Marcus Smart, and Rob Will scoring, like it's over. It doesn't matter if DeAndre Hunter has 30, you know? But, you know, Jaylen Brown finally came back, kind of went into some hibernation during this playoff so far. But I think now he's coming to play. He's gonna be a big difference maker in the next series against Philly. That's right. I'm already stamping the series is over. It doesn't matter. You know, they just need one more win. But I think we're gonna see another Philly and Celtics series. How is that gonna go? I don't know yet. Maybe we'll have our picks ready by next week. I don't know yet. But right now, when Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are clicking, and when you have contributions from Derek White and Marcus Smart, this looks like one of the best damn teams in the league right now.
Yep.
That's all it is. That's all I could say about it.
If this was an old Celtics team, I could have seen them maybe dropping another game in Atlanta. But this team is experienced. They've been to the finals. They've been to the conference finals year in after year out. So they know what they're doing. They're not playing with their food. They just want to get to the next round smooth, and that's it.
Yeah.
As for Philly, that matchup, I don't really know yet because Embiid missed Game 4 with an injury, and then Harden's still dealing with his injury. He hasn't really been the same in the playoffs. So I would lean Boston, but maybe with this time, with this rest, you never know. But yeah, should we go to the Knicks and Cavs series?
Nah, we should at least. I understand it's boring as hell. I know you're doing it on purpose. You didn't forget about them. But yeah, because you did say playing with your food. Speaking of, playing with your food, let's talk about like Philly real quick. It'll be a quick few minutes. I understand another boring ass series. Sweep. That's the first series to be done so far in this playoffs. But as I mentioned last pod, I think it was very important to let other guys get in their groove instead of be like, hey, let Embiid dominate. And we saw, Tobias Harris and Maxey both averaged 20 points a game this series. I would like Harden to get more in his rhythm, but as you said, injury history and all that, it's kind of limiting him, even at this point in time. I'm going to give Bridges his flowers too, but I think people got to kind of cool down. Like, let's not talk about this guy being a top 20 player yet just because of half a season and one playoff series, especially a sweep. But I think he's going to be a pretty damn good player. I still think he can't be the main star. If the Nets want to really compete for a title again after losing 3 Hall of Famers, you got to get Bridges a guy better than him. I think he's a terrific co-star. You plot him into any team, the Cavs, the Knicks, any really good playoff team, that team becomes a contender. But right now, as the main guy, he's not capable of it. As I said, with these guys getting in their groove, is this enough to take down the Celtics? I don't know. I think this is kind of, even though they're in their rhythm, I think this is a case of them just playing a super inferior team to them. I don't think Tobias Harris is going to be able to replicate this against Boston. Maxey, maybe, but I don't know. I think this is going to be an Embiid show again, but it's not going to really lead to too much. But hey, at least stay out of the first round right now. They got to focus on their next matchup. They have time. Maybe the Hawks can wear them out for another game. I strongly doubt it. Maybe get the Celtics a little bit more tired for Philly. But that's all I have to say, man. I mean, they swept them with Embiid missing a game. I thought the Nets might be able to steal one game, but this one, as I predicted, it was a sweep.
Yeah, this series, I don't really have much to say. I want to give Tobias Harris his flowers because he's usually known to be a guy who's very inconsistent.
Flowers? Against the Nets?
Yeah, you're right. I want to say you did your job.
You did the bare minimum you're supposed to. You getting paid like $30 million. You should average 20 fucking points against the Nets, respectfully.
Damn. You did your job. He has been playing good this series. I actually do want to give a shout out to Paul Reed. Shout out to Paul Reed. He's been doing his thing in this series. The stats might not say it, but if you watch the game, you could really see it. Bro, 10 points and 15 rebounds yesterday. He be keeping the Sixers alive in these games, even though, the last 2 games were pretty close. So they're not really empty stats. The first 2 games are just like. But yeah, as for the Nets, it's going to be interesting to see what they do next year because they got in the playoffs because of Kyrie and KD. They were under 500 after the trade. So I want to see what they do going forward. Mikal Bridges, I love his game. I wish he wasn't I wish he was across the bridge, my brother.
Of course.
I wish he was with us, man. If we could make that happen, that would be lit. But I'd hate to see you go out in Brooklyn like that. But yeah, hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully the Brooklyn Nets have a good off season. Hopefully we see that. But yeah, I think Philly is going into next series preparing for Boston and knowing what they have to do. Because I kind of look at them as a rival a little bit, even though they don't have history. But I always notice opening night, Boston and Philly are always playing each other. They have a little history there. So I feel like Embiid knows this too. He even says they whoop our ass all the time. So I feel like he's going to go into the series with the chip on his shoulder. And I think they're just waiting, man. And credit to Doc Rivers for not playing with his food. Like you said, he's doing his job, but he has a track record of he kind of fucked the shit up, man. But it's good you did it this year. 4-0 sweep. That's it. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, Doc could get his flowers. I'm sorry, like, it's not due yet. Doc could get his flowers if he beats the Celtics. I'll give him all respect when he beats the Celtics. At this point, I'm sticking by my take that I've had for years. He's the most overrated fucking coach in history because you blow all these 3-1 leads. You almost blew, what was like a 3-0 lead against the Raptors last year? Like, come on, bro.
Oh, yeah, there was a 3
Yeah. Come on, bro. I'll give him his flowers when he beats the Celtics. I don't care if it's in 7 games. I'll give him his flowers. But at this point, giving him and Tobias Harris flowers at this point is wild. Prove it against the Celtics that just went to the finals. I'll give you respect. So last series, let the bias come out. 2 Knicks fans. Of course, we're going to let the bias out. Let's talk about the Knicks. Let's talk about the 3-1 lead. Because honestly, in my opinion, I'd be a damn liar if I said that I foresaw a 3-1 lead over the Cavs right now. I said this was a 7-game series. I'm more than happy that we have a 3-1 commanding lead right now. I'm loving this team, bro. I understand we haven't seen too many good Knicks teams to even pick a favorite Knicks team in our lifetime, but this is probably going to go down as my favorite Knicks team, and it's a little bit, it's bittersweet, that this is our favorite Knicks team that just takes winning one series, which didn't even happen yet. We just got a 3-1 lead, but just talk about the Knicks, bro. I can't even say too much. Let's talk about these games, bro. Let's talk about RJ. Let's talk about Brunson being clutch. Let's talk about Mitchell Robinson grabbing boards, blocking all these damn shots. Let's talk about Josh Hart being an X factor. Let's talk about how we locked up. Yes, we are a part of the Knicks. We locked up the Cavs, and they scored less than 80 points. First team the whole season to score less than 80 points. Not the Hornets, not the bum-ass Rockets, not the Spurs, the Cavs in the playoffs against the Knicks. A team that was supposed to mollywop us, apparently. Remember that? We were supposed to lose the series. All this talk. Damn, the Knicks are going to learn now that they should have traded all their assets for Donovan Mitchell. Now look at this. It's going to be a revenge story. What happened last night? I didn't see no revenge. I didn't see game 1 Donovan Mitchell. Darius Garland, I'll give him respect. Not flowers. I'll give him respect. He was clutch, getting buckets in the fourth quarter.
He turned it up in that third quarter. He was on some shit.
Third and fourth. He went 3 for 4 in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. I was like, damn, how are we going to stop this guy? We had this good lead, and now he's trying to chip out our lead. But, man, the Knicks, bro, playing great when Randall is playing bad. Dibs being mature, sitting down Randall, when we needed it. Some respect to guys like Hart. We're playing good without, quickly playing as this, great caliber player.
And Q Grimes is out.
Q Grimes was out last game. Man, what do you got to say about the Knicks, bro?
Man, I'm just happy as hell, man. I'm smiling. I know I had Cavs in 7, but that was just my analyst pick. I'm rooting for the Knicks every time I'm watching these games. And, man, if you told me at the start of the season that we would be up 3-1 against the Cavaliers in the playoffs, I would tell you you're fucking crazy. I told that to Colin yesterday. I was like, bro, I'm just happy to be here, bro. The last time the Knicks were good, I was in 7th grade. So I just want to
How old are we now, Justin, too? Because we was 13 when that last playoff series happened.
I'm 22 now. So
yeah.
now I just want to enjoy it. I was 12, bro. Last time we was nice. So I just want to enjoy it. I don't care what people have to say about Knicks fans this, Knicks fans that. Man, I just want to enjoy the moment. Because if your team was good, you'd be doing the same shit. I guess some people get numb to it if you're fans of a good team every year. But shit, we don't see this shit every year. I remember when Ron Baker was in the lineup. I remember that. I remember when Jared Jack was in the game and Trey Burke was our star player. Nigga, I wanted to turn the TV off. Like,
Because Minskis, you remember him?
Alexei Shev,
all these bums.
Yeah, I remember those days.
Lou Amundsen.
Yeah, I remember those days, bro. I wanted to turn the TV off. Dave would text us in the group chat like, "Yo, I was watching the Knicks tonight," and this was like when they had nobody. I'm like, why are you doing that to yourself?
Yeah, it was torture.
And I would still watch sometimes.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, bro, just to be in this moment right now is so surreal. I kind of expect the Cavs to win Game 5 in Cleveland. I feel like that's gonna happen, but I feel like that we're gonna come back to Madison Square Garden. The fucking crowd's gonna be rocking, and I think we're gonna take care of it right there. That's what the fans want. And shout out to R.J. Barrett. Like I said in the beginning, wasn't too hot in the first 2 games. He showed up. I feel like he was the reason we pulled out Game 3. When nobody had it going, that was an ugly game in Game 3. He was the only one. He was our offense in that first quarter. He stepped up. He heard the chatter, and he responded very well to it. Same thing last game. He was great again. When Randall doesn't have it, RJ steps up. Brunson, I give him credit because when he doesn't start off good, second half he kind of pulls it together. And I love this team, man. Mitchell Robinson doing what he does. He making Jared Allen look like a bitch. I'm sorry, man.
Saying that's the weight room. Him and Mobley.
Both of them. And the Cavs wings, they got to figure it out again. Karis LeVert has been a little bit better since the first game. But yeah, they have questions to do. Ricky Rubio gets in the game. They pull his ass out after like 2 minutes. He doesn't really give them much production. And Garland, I give him credit. Game 2 was all him. It was the Darius Garland show. Like I said, I expected him after Game 1 to come out with a big game. And then last night's game, he really turned up in that third quarter. He brought the team back. But Game 3, man, he was nowhere to be found. Donovan Mitchell had the quietest 22. Bro, I made the joke. I felt like somebody kidnapped Darius Garland while he was walking through Central Park and was like, yo, we bet the under. So do that. But yeah, and last night, it was set up perfectly for Donovan Mitchell. You're down 2-1 in the Garden. It's Game 4. You got the bright lights. Everyone's saying, "Oh, they should have traded for me." That was your moment to have the superstar moment in the Garden, down 2-1. You could potentially go back to Cleveland down 3-1. That was your superstar moment right there to come out and answer and be like, "Nah, we're not going home 3-1. I'm gonna put us on our back." But he didn't. He was flat all game. 9 points at halftime. He finished with 11. And the guy that we were supposed to trade him for, R.J. Barrett, came out with 26 points. Big game from him.
Gangster.
And I remember I was one of the people in the summer that said, I do not want to trade R.J. Barrett for Donovan Mitchell. They look at me crazy. I might still be crazy for that. But, man, I love R.J. Barrett. I know what this guy is. He may not be a superstar, but I know he could handle it here playing in this spotlight. A lot of people cannot play in New York City. I feel like R.J. is one of those guys that can. Because time and time again, he's heard the chatter and he's responded. So he's one of those guys. I feel like he's built for this. And I'm really proud of this Knicks team. And I pray to God we don't blow this 3-1 lead. Knock on wood, man. I pray to, because I will never hear the end of it. And if we pull this series off, I'm going to be talking my shit.
Honestly, bro, after that monologue, man, I'm only going to have a 30-second monologue because that was everything I wanted to say, you know. I think, you know, it sounds a little bit pessimistic, just being realistic. I think we lose in Cleveland, but I think we win it at home. We win it in 6. I said Knicks in 7. You know, 6 don't sound too bad neither. I kind of just want to end the Knicks talk with this real quick before we move on to the MVP of the week. I know I'm thinking ahead of myself. You've seen how happy the fans was. Not to win the series, just to grab a 3-1 lead, climbing light poles and all that. Do not let this team, I'm telling y'all right now, do not let this team go deep in the playoffs. Because we've seen how Philadelphia fans reacted when the Phillies made the World Series. Not one, made the World Series. We've seen an Eagle fan literally eat horse shit when they won the Super Bowl. do not let the Knicks even touch the finals. Because Manhattan is going to burn down. I promise you. Not win the finals. Do not let... I am thinking ahead. I don't care. You know what? All these people want to say Knicks fans is annoying for their success. Yeah, I am going to be annoying. I don't care, bro. I am going to be annoying. Because you know what? We have been in some shit for years, dog. I got the right to be annoying. So I'm telling y'all right now, don't even let them win the second round. Forget the finals. Don't even let them win the second round at this point. Because it's just going to get more and more annoying. I've said it for years. When we get good, I'm going to be annoying as hell. I'm going to be worse than any Warriors fan in 2017. Worse than any Heat fan in 2012. Worse than any Laker Kobe fan at Kobe's peak. I don't care. I'm going to be worse than all that combined. I don't give a fuck. When we win these games, when we win these series, do not let us get this far. Because you're only going to hear more noise from us. But with that, man... Love my Knicks, proud of my Knicks. Whenever we talk about my Knicks,
and I just
always
want to
gonna be biased.
Real quick, shout out Tom Thibodeau. In the beginning of the season, I wanted this man fired, bro.
Oh, you went too far. I'm not gonna lie.
Nah,
you hoeing him right now. I love this.
No, yeah, I wanted him fired, but it was only because he wasn't really trusting the young guys, trusting his bench. But I feel like to be a great team, you have to trust everybody on the team. Even if got to give him a chance at least. So I feel like him pulling Randall yesterday was a mature move. I don't know that many coaches that will pull out their best their second best, arguably their best players at times, to do that in a playoff series and in a game. Not a lot of coaches would do that. So credit to him for maturing and him finally trusting Quentin Grimes and Emmanuel quickly, and he's been trusting Obi a little bit more. Credit to him for getting out of his ways and kind of adjusting and letting these guys kind of get their shine.
So, yeah, let's wrap up this episode. I know we got really passionate about the Knicks. Like I said, we're always going to be biased about them. Let's talk about the MVP of the Week nominations. We had Steph Curry that had 230 balls, both in wins. Jimmy Butler as an 8 seed is averaging 30 for the series. He had a 30 ball and a 25 ball. And the last one, I know, they've been losing, but Russell Westbrook, man. As I said, like 3 times already because I'm so amazed by it. Averaging 26 points, 41% three-point shooting, 28, 30, 37 points in the series. If I'm going to give my pick real quick, because I already apologized to the man, I know he was losing these games, but man, he's not expected to win. My vote goes to Russell Westbrook for the week.
I'm going to go with, those are all 3 good picks, but for me, I'm going to go with Stephen Curry, only because they're down 0-2. You're coming back to Golden State. And this Kings team is really not coming up to play around. They're coming. They're strong. They got Mike Brown on the other side, who's been on the Warriors side. So for Steph Curry, I'm not saying this was like a legacy game for him, but like we know what Steph Curry could do, and he just answered time and time again. When his team and everything around him isn't really matching up with him, he's the one factor. He's the engine for that team. He's the offense. He is everything. He literally built that whole team and the way we play now. He did everything. So he just answered to just when the team's on their backs, he's the one that's answering all the calls. Even when Draymond out in Game 3, he's missing his anchor. But yeah, he responded well being down 0-2. So I'm going to give it to Stephen Curry.
Beautiful pick. Any of the 3 would have been great. I love the Steph Curry pick. I got Russell Westbrook. That's nothing against Jimmy. Jimmy's been playing phenomenal as well. But with all that being said in this episode, guys, that wraps it up for J&J for the day. We will see you guys next time.
RJ Barrett.
RJ Barrett.